Hi, I'm Alex. In this LXT story, I'm going to talk to you about how to rise the quality of didactics in your e-trainings. You probably know the problem or the distinction, let's say, that there is a difference between tool competence and didactics competence. When you know how to use Word and you know how to make the most beautiful files, then still you're not necessarily capable of creating a marketing letter. Or if you're very good at using PowerPoint, then still at the end of the day, this doesn't mean that you are the king of the queen of animations and very beautiful slides. You can use a tool, but what is important is the contents. Now, in digital learning, a lot of people think that only because they know how to use a tool, they are able to create trainings. But this simply is not true. So what happens here is that in this perspective, we risk to just throw all the information we have, all the knowledge we have into a tool without even considering what our didactics approach is, what we want to achieve, and how we can bring the learner from where he is currently to where we want him to be at the end of the training. There is a tool that is integrated into LXT. It is the Didactics Architect, and it helps you, it guides you when creating e-learning contents. Now, let me show you an example of how this looks when everything is already done before we jump into the part where I show you how to use the Didactics Architect when conceiving your training. So let's go to this first card in the training. Is my stress level in the green zone? And then we have here at the sidebar the Didactics Architect that I can now activate. And then you see the learning objectives here at the top of the card. The learner knows typical stress indicators, is conscious of the own stress level, and realizes if he should act. This is the objective that we want to obtain with this card. And now you see here the difference that there are some annotations. So you see there's establishing knowledge with the effect of basic knowledge that is conveyed, the consequence of failing to act with the effect of the need to act is highlighted, and we have a description. You hear again and again that stress makes you ill, but is often not taken seriously. Therefore, the biological fact is directly added here, which is supposed to intensify this consequence of failing to act. Okay, so we have a very clear perspective of what is happening here. What are we planning to do? What are we doing with our learners? And then we have some more basic knowledge here, and that's all there is for now. So what is good what is good about the Didactics Architect here? It has two perspectives. Perspective number one is the e-learning author, the one who creates the contents. He can have this perspective when creating contents on what do I actually want to achieve in the learner's head? What do I want to create up here between the ears? And the second perspective is for the reviewer, who might be an expert in his field of, expertise, but often doesn't have a didactics background. So we need to help him understand why the training is designed the way it is designed and help him better understand the concept of the training. And this can be done by the Didactics Architect. So when you have really the different parts of what is happening here and not only the result of your thoughts, which means the texts, images, and interactions. So let's activate the edit mode here, and then I will guide you through the Didactics Architect. So you see here that I could delete the didactics info, which I'm not going to do, or select didactics info. We have three levels here. So we have the level of want, the level of understand in blue, and the level of do, which is green. In other words, we have the knowledge level, which is blue. We have the behavior level in green, and then we have the red level, which concerns the attitude of the learner. So when changing the attitude and make someone want something, you can use different things. You can use reflections, self-reflections that have the effect of a desire to change, which is triggered through self-awareness. Or you use the motive of relevance. You create the effect of intrinsic motivation, which is activated. You use social proof, so simply insert a colleague who tells that I have tried, I have succeeded, and it really worked out quite well because of this and that. And this shows the feasibility of what we were talking about. Now, the blue part, which is the knowledge level, here we have establishing knowledge, deepening of knowledge, the light bulb effect, where like in comics or comic strips, you have the light bulb above the head of the characters. This is the, I see, I get it. So the effect is curiosity that is stimulated and knowledge that is triggered. Case study to link to the real life scenarios and create identification with the topic. And then the third level, the doing, is put a trigger, set transfer impulses, give how-tos to create confidence, to act, and the sharing part, well, spread out the knowledge you have yourself and tell us what you have done so far. These 3 levels can all be part of a training, but don't necessarily have to be. It depends on what your objective is. Do you want to simply transmit knowledge? Or do you have a target group who first needs to understand why this is important, why they should act, and should get the feeling of, yes, maybe I myself am able to do so? Then you will need to work on this red level. And you cannot start directly with the blue level and transmit knowledge if people are more like this and say, this topic, me, If you have this kind of situation, then you really need to focus on the red level. Same goes for the green level. If you want to put impulses and want people to act after a training, then set some triggers. Give them the possibility to really do something. And this is what we are doing now. Let's set a trigger here. Well, basically, this is the first one. It's a rather low one. It means click on the corresponding card. But yes, this is a trigger, readiness to act. The learner chooses the topic that is most relevant in his situation. Okay. Click on save, and then even when I deactivate the edit mode and the Didactics Architect is activated, then you still see what you have here. Now, of course, it's not all about just tagging the elements that you have, but you should create your content step by step and really have in mind what is the objective of what I'm doing, what do I want to achieve here. And once this all is done, you take the target group analysis, you take the persona that you have created before and, well, mentally walk through the training and check if this actually speaks to the people that you need to address. Or if this is only attractive to you yourself. In this case, you might want to consider changing the training design. Of course, now we're talking about features and tools, and if you would like to gain some more knowledge about the Didactics Architect, then of course you will need some competence on this level as well. We have 2 parts here. First part, this is the technical one. There's a video description of the Didactics Architect telling you on what I just did, how to do it, and you can also use this to enable reviewers because they also need to understand how to use it. So simply have a short meeting, tell them, this is the first draft that I made up, this is the didactic motivation that I have here. You can check it by simply clicking on the brain symbol at the sidebar. And that's all there is to understanding from a reviewer's perspective. Now, when it comes to creating e-learning contents, we have a video description, which is for now only available in German, but we made up this mock page of the English version. So if you're many people who knock on our door and say, well, can we have this content in English? Then I guess we will have a motivation ourselves to create this content in English. So I hope you understood by now why didactics is so important and why there is a difference between tool competence and didactics competence. Now, the perfect match is here in LXT. You saw that there is a combination of the tool telling you and guiding you through didactic conception of a training, and this is when it really comes to giving you pleasure when creating e-learning contents, because you're not left alone with all your thoughts. You have a tool that helps you channel your thoughts and your objectives here with the Didactics Architect.